and distinguished colleagues, the joint National Assembly in a joint session, National Assembly in a joint session, in executive session, resolved as follows. The security agencies must be given the marching orders to curtail the sustained killings of Nigerians across the country and protect the life and properties of Nigerians, as this is the primary duty of any responsible government. 2, the systemic harassment and humiliation by the executive of perceived political opponents, people with contrary opinions, including legislators and judiciary, by the police and other security agencies must stop. There must be, 3, there must be strict adherence to the rule of law and protection for all citizens by the President and all his appointees. 4, the President must be held accountable for the actions of his appointees and must be ready to sanction those that carry out any act which will ridicule or endanger our country and our democracy. 5, the government should show sincerity in the fight against corruption by not being selective and also prosecute current appointees that have cases pending against them. 6, the sanctity of the National Assembly should be protected and preserved by the federal government by not interfering in the business of the National Assembly and prosecute those who invaded the Senate to seize the mace. Democratic elections must be competitive and inclusive by removing the present reign of fear and intimidation, particularly as we approach the forthcoming 2019 elections. The National Assembly will liaise with the international communities through the IPU, APU, ECOWAS Parliament, CPA, Pan-African Parliament, EU, US Congress, UK Parliament, United Nations to secure our democracy. The National Assembly will also work closely with civil society organizations, trade unions, NGOs to further deepen and protect our democracy. Resolution 9, the President must take immediate steps to curtail the growing level of unemployment and poverty in Nigeria, especially now that we have the advantage of the oil price rising up to $80 per barrel. 10, both chambers of the National Assembly hereby pass a vote of confidence on the Senate, President, the Speaker, and the entire leadership of the National Assembly. 11, we also hereby reaffirm our earlier resolutions of the vote of no confidence on the Inspector General of Police, who does nothing other than preside over killings of innocent Nigerians and outright disregard for constitutional authority of both the executive and the legislative. And finally, the National Assembly will not hesitate to evoke its constitutional powers if nothing is done to address the above resolutions passed today. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the executive? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, Right Honourable Speaker, very distinguished and honourable colleagues, having come this far, I move that this joint sitting be adjourned sine die. I so move.
Honourable Nena.
I hereby second the motion as very eloquently moved as the Leader of the Senate. I so second.
Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say nay.
Okay, it's so good to see Senator Dino Milaye sitting there while that was going on. And I must say a very big thank you to Oak TV for allowing us to use that clip. Okay, so you're welcome back. You're still watching Rose on All Sides. My name remains Rose Peter Graham, and I have a very lovely guest. It's lovely when ladies gather together like this. Yeah, her name is Councillor Celia Hibbert, a councillor for Penn, Wolverhampton, West Midlands. It's so good to have her here. And first, I must say congratulations to you, Celia.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
For winning this election.
Yes, and it's a marginal seat as well, may I add.
Yes, and being in an opposition party.
Yeah, well, we took a seat that wasn't Labour seat, so yeah, so it was really good.
Yes, you know, that's big. And quite a number of people thought it was impossible for you to win.
Absolutely. It was pretty much a seat that was in the dustbin, and I literally went there, took it out and cleaned it up and gave it back to the Labour Party. So, yeah, it was brilliant.
That was really good.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're a model.
Yes, I used to, I said
yes,
I used to be a model, but I still do a bit of part-time modeling as well. My political career at the minute is slightly overshadowing that modeling career path. So,
you know, because someone would quickly want to ask you from modeling to politics.
Tell me about it. Well, it's quite a statement, to be honest with you, but it is a purposeful statement because people have a thing that they generalize where they think models haven't got the brains, or when you're a political person, you can't be a model. But I want to try and break the barriers and get people thinking again. Or, for instance, people might think you've got a blonde hair, surely you can't be serious. But
and you're really colorful.
I am
like,
very colorful.
All those colors are like
I am very
politics.
Yeah, so there you go. I bring some sunshine when I come into the chambers, and I think that is needed in the chambers as well, because it gets so very, very serious and sometimes a bit of rough and tumble. But when I come in, I sort of lighten up the whole place. Can I add as well, our mayor, we've got a new mayor. He's the 160th mayor of Wolverhampton City.
Okay.
He is very colourful as well. So can I add that before I steal the show?
And you guys blend well.
Oh yeah, I get on really well with our mayor because he comes in and he sort of lightens the whole place as well. So yes, I'm happy with my new position.
Okay, so in one of your recent interviews with the Cable, you actually said Britain is a fair place.
Well, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? For somebody like myself, to be a councillor, it's a statement of fairness, I think, personally, because, my skin colour doesn't match up. My accent, I don't think, matches up either. I mean, I won against someone who was born and bred in Penn, someone who's from there, a white male person. You would think it's a no-brainer for me to even stand against him. But like I said, Britain is a fair place. You know, you work hard, you put the work in, you get the result that you've expected. And I think it's really good because sometimes we need to show to the young people that when you put in the work, you can get the results, and that's what happened.
And you have also mentioned that people of colour face a lot of challenges.
Well, in as much as Britain is a fair place, we still have a few bits of obstacles you have to overcome just because of your skin colour. But if you were determined to make sure that isn't a problem, I think you would get to that bridge and cross it.
Did you have that worry when you were contesting?
Absolutely.
Like my skin colour?
Absolutely, yes.
Would this work?
Absolutely, yes, because I think we have about over 80% of Caucasians in Penwood. So, of course, without the shadow of doubt, I was thinking, how come each of the doors I knock, a white face comes out? Are these people actually going to be voting me? You know, I hardly did see a black skin behind those doors when I was canvassing. And that gave me, that worried me. But having said that, they voted overwhelmingly. A lot of people came out and it was monumental.
So now that you've won, what's next?
Well, that's the question everybody's been asking me. To be honest, my entrance into political sphere was a natural progression from my community activism. I'm a community activist. I've always been there in the community, working with elderly people, running the crèche in different organizations, helping out in the library, in the schools, and go out with the people, do litter picking. Work with the homeless people as well. So I'm an ordinary person from very humble background, and it's just a natural process for me, because as a councillor, that's what you're expected to do, apart from the, you know, the legislative part of things. But the bulk of the work is reaching out to your community, and that's what I've always done, even when I wasn't a councillor. So it's a natural. So it just came natural. Yeah, it's a natural progression for me, and that's what I'm going to carry on doing, and obviously just carry on doing it. And the good thing is now I have a platform, you know, to channel all that, my endless energy, as people say, you have endless energy. Just channel it there and do what's natural to me.
Okay, so tell me, are you going to take this back to Nigeria? I mean, given the opportunity, would you want to contest in Nigeria?
Like you talked about the Cable interviewing me, the Cable indeed did interview me, and one of the questions they did ask me is, am I going to contest in Nigeria? You know, we have an election looming around the corner, 2019. Well, there is a saying that goes, never say never. I would never say absolutely not. But again, you know, I think it's going to be a real shame not to be politically active at some point in Nigeria, because I think we need new people. We need, like the previous guest you had, our presidential aspirant, Alistair Shoyede, he talked about bridging that gap. We need some people who actually understand how the West function. We need some people who can bridge that gap, who can bring those expertise that make, you know, we're in a first world country. What are the components that make us a first world country? We need people who have understood these, who have been in the political system, like myself, to sort of propagate these values back to Nigeria, back to the third world countries, because we've waited for so long for these countries to emerge. You know, it has to grow. We have a country full of everything you can think about, full of mineral resources, full of human, you know, very hardworking people, full of graduates, full of beautiful, clement weather. We have everything in Nigeria. You know, for us not to succeed is just a mockery and a shock to me. You know, we have everything it takes to excel. Why are we not excelling? That's the question. And people like myself, I just wake up and I'm angry when I see the news that come out from there. And I'm thinking, why are these happening? You know, we're in 21st century. We shouldn't be having callous mistakes go on and happen again and happen. You know, it's just terrible. So my expertise, I think it would be a shame not to at some point add to, you know, what we have going on in Nigeria. And I would never say never, but in terms of contesting, I might not be contesting, but I might not say no if I have some political appointments or something like that, working in a platform where I can make a significant difference and make those necessary changes that Nigeria do need, actually.
That is good. Are you getting offers?
Well, I'll keep my cards close to my chest because I've just got appointed in Penn, and I love Penn. Absolutely beautiful word. In Wolverhampton, I actually say it's the most beautiful place you can live in. You know, people take pride of their environment.
That's nice. Is that an invitation?
Well, feel free at all. Anytime, the councillor is going to host you and show you around. I'm absolutely proud of Penn. Penn is a place where people take pride of their immediate surroundings, where people are helpful, where people are humans. You know, it's just nice people everywhere when you come out on the streets. It's
and what are your projects? Because you also mentioned about driving investment to Penn.
Oh, yes, I have that vision of driving investments to Penn. I'm actually already visiting the local businesses and trying to bring some visibility to them. So, you know, we have quite a few restaurants and businesses that have, you know, won some sort of... We've got a restaurant in Penn. It's 2 times award-winning restaurants. We've got a fish and chips shop that is the best in the whole West Midlands.
Do you have a Nigerian restaurant in Penn? That might make me want to come.
We actually do not have a Nigerian restaurant in Penn, but I'm thinking of using one of the pubs in Penn, actually Mount Tavern, that's the name of the pub, to run like a Afrobeat night and invite people so we can actually see what Afrobeats has to offer to the people. And I like Afrobeats myself, so yeah, I was actually thinking about that project. But yeah, in general, I want to bring more visibility to Penn businesses and sort of grow the economy and yeah, make it even a happier place for people to come and live in.
That is true. So why is politics different in the UK from the one in Nigeria?
Well, so many differences. I mean, having said, we have differences and we have similarities of politics here and politics back in Nigeria. First of all, it's people you're dealing with. So people are complex, whether you meet them in the sea, on the land, in Africa, or England, or anywhere. So in that regard, it's similar in that way. But here we have some things in place to ensure transparency. So in the circumstance people try to be funny, you have some things there, some policies, some legislations to make sure that you could challenge the transparency, you could challenge the process, and you have people at the other end encouraging you as well to challenge it. And even though we still experience some level of sexism and
do we?
In
the UK?
We do, because political terrain is a male-dominated environment. So you still have, that clash there when you're trying to occupy your space legitimately, as you should do. You still have some men thinking, you better watch your step because this is not a woman's environment kind of thing. It is very subtle now because we are hammering on it. I'm a Labour Party member, and Labour Party we have democracy review where we are looking at things as sexism, things that would make women not to want to engage politically. So we have these constant discussions going on, and this is what I think maybe Nigeria is lacking. We need to have open, candid conversations where people are bringing legitimate concerns, and where we have team of people dedicated to solving these problems. We need to have transparent processes. We need to talk about things. We need to look for solutions. We need to enforce.
Let's talk about your party leader, Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh dear me.
I like Jeremy Corbyn.
I love Jeremy Corbyn as well. And I love Jeremy Corbyn because he's my leader. He's been democratically elected. And I think every leader should be given that chance to actually take people to, he had a vision when he contested.
Yes.
We want to see what the vision is. And for you to see what that vision is, you have to support him. People need to support the leader so we can see where he's taking us to. Then when you get to that destination, if you don't like it, then you can then challenge him on concrete grounds. But why are you challenging him when he hasn't even had the opportunity to take you where he's envisioned?
Okay, I think, just being like an observer, there's a lot you could actually learn just watching Jeremy Corbyn.
Okay.
For me...
Do you like Jeremy Corbyn?
I really like Jeremy Corbyn.
Jeremy, you've got a fan.
I do, because I was really watching the last election when Theresa May was all about stable and strong, and she was going on and on with that.
Weak and wobbly.
Yeah, so she was on and on with being stable and strong. And then Jeremy Corbyn, I think he just fell on the youths, and they really supported him. And at the end of the day, we saw how the Conservatives lost so much to the Labour Party. I mean, they are the ones in the opposition, but then they got quite a number of seats.
Well, there you go.
And they really won. So it's just like you're just looking at him. Don't just judge him or then cast him aside. Just, there's just something about him. He believed, and he just went on and on, no matter what. Every day, there was some funny thing about Jeremy Corbyn in the papers. Making jest of him, maybe the way he talks, maybe his looks, or whatever. But he just didn't, he wasn't flustered. He just kept on and on. And at the end of the day, he was the star. He became the star of that election.
What I can say about our leader, he just keeps going, even when he... I don't believe in politics of hostility. I believe in dissent. Politics. When I ran my campaign in Penn, I made sure I ran it with utmost dignity, and that's what I see politics as. It's not about attacking an individual.
And that was true.
It's about attacking policies. It's about giving people a legitimate alternative for them to look at and vote for. It's not about, it's not about...
Don't get me wrong, I admire Theresa May also a whole lot. I do admire her, but then Jeremy Corbyn just does it for quite a number of people. He just makes you, just inspire you and let you just believe, to just You just believe and you get there politically. It's not easy. Politics, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But then I'm going to take you on Nigerian politics. About the declaration today, the president declared June 12th. A Democracy Day from May 29th. Now it's June 12th.
Well, my take on that is it's been long overdue, first of all, but secondly, again, we need to actually redefine democracy in Nigeria. It's all right declaring to the, June 12th as Democracy Day. Do we actually practice democracy? It's just a rebaptism. We've had so much words about democracy. Our democracy shouldn't still be evolving. It should already be there. We should already be enjoying democracy and democratic processes, and we are far away from that.
Okay.
I mean,
really, if you ask Rose, I would readily give you my opinion. Number one, I would say it's a strategic move. It's a good move from the president, but it's coming a bit late, and I do not expect the western parts of Nigeria, mainly the Yorubas, to give in to this. That's one. Secondly, this is entirely my opinion. It is not the opinion of Ben Television. Not at all. It is Rosie's opinion. They shouldn't give in. It's a good move. The family is happy about it. Thumbs up. It's long overdue. But no, we're not going to be swayed by this. This election has to be another free and fair election. Because if the president is starting now to recognize democracy, starting now, because he's been contesting since when? 2011? Starting now to recognize democracy, it should allow the next election to be entirely free and fair.
And you know what? President?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can imagine something like that. The guys, I think, what's the guy's name again? Ayo Akinibosun. That's one of the lead leaders of the Offa, the gang leaders of the Offa robbery, where they killed like almost 40 Nigerians, including pregnant women.
Well, that's what we're talking about, isn't it? When you hear news like that coming out from a country of that size, a country in the 21st century, you're hearing about callousness, people dying.
It hurts. It hurts. And for me, the way the guy is talking and pointing fingers, I think he's lying. I am not a fan of the Senate president, but I just think that guy is lying because he's so quick to speak, he's so quick to mention names, and like I said before, it is my opinion. So, my darling. No, of course, you need to watch that clip. He's ready to give them all the information. I mean, the Senate president, quote unquote, might not be a saint, but, and we do know they have political goals. And I'm really happy about what Nigerians did. The pictures that you guys put out about the... I don't want to bring that photograph. I would have given it to Uche. Uche, you're a darling. You just know when to punch the pictures. I mean, when to punch the buttons. That's my producer. So, there's something about it. They put the picture of Saraki's son when he was graduating in the United Kingdom, and then the picture of those thugs, and said, Saraki's son and Saraki's George. I didn't want to be dramatic, so I didn't bring them. But side to side, look at that. Your child is here, graduating. And that is one thing I want all Nigerians to take up. We can't allow this. We can't allow it. Their kids are abroad. They're using our money to send their families here, and they're living well. And then schools are shut down back home. And they're using other people's children as thugs, political thugs. And then when the monies are finished, then they start robbing. It's painful. Anyway, I have to say thank you very much for watching my show. It's Rose on all sides. And Celia, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
And hopefully you come on the show again. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. So good to have you. And believe me, we're going to do this again. My name remains Rose Peter Graham. It's been Rose on all sides.